Hey there, me again. um, I had a cancellation this afternoon, so I figured I was going to take this time to really start taking advantage of the videos that I want to do. So your benefit for the cancellation of a workshop that I was going to do today. On the same drive home yesterday, where I was thinking about the storms and the fireworks, it reminded me that I wanted to share some information with you guys about dogs who have separation distress, that fear of being alone. And you can go out to my dog training page, and I have a blog post there that talks about really the protocol that I follow, the crate training part of it, and sort of the interval training of getting them acclimated to be in their crate and to be alone. So go out there, the caninecoachblog.com, search on that, and you'll find that information. But I wanted to share a little bit more here, especially about the essential oil piece. So it comes back to this imprinting thing that we keep talking about. And again, I wanted to share some examples of that with you and some ideas on some of the oils that I would use in this scenario. So when I have a dog that has separation distress, and y'all, I get some serious cases. I've even had dogs that jump out two-story windows trying to find their owner. And so we know those are probably the most severe cases that we have, but we have dogs that try to eat their way out of crates or eat their way through doors and drywall and all sorts of stuff. And so especially those of you who are fostering or taking in animals from shelters, you may be experiencing this more than others. We also know that a dog can be settled in one home and then move to an adopter's home and all hell break loose, right? I mean, they just sort of lose it. And it's like, what's different? That didn't happen previously. And I say, it's the same principle of it was the final straw. Things build up. Dogs manage tolerance as much as they can. It's the same that we talk about with our bodies and our health. They take a beating, that demolition derby thing we talk about, right? Beating, and at some point it gives up. It says, like, I can't take this anymore. And so then there are these big reactions. So whenever you are transitioning a dog for any reason, right? Moving them from home to home, moving them to the pet sitter, moving them out of the shelter, pack integration, any of those things, I believe is the time to use some essential oils that can be calming and soothing and grounding. And so we're going to talk a lot about grounding today, because I think that's what all of this is about, right? Is really having that dog feel like they belong, that they're in touch with the earth and their purpose, and that they feel some stability, right? So we can go back and talk about essential oils for transitions and movement and all that kind of stuff. But sticking with this separation distress topic, I do want you to crate train them. And what I find works best now is airline style carriers that have the hard plastic with the holes across the top, right? Usually it's either little round holes or some vertical holes across the very top, but they're small, just enough for air, but generally not enough and not in a place that the dog can get a grip on it with their teeth. What I find is when a dog figures out that the doors or the sides or the bars have any sort of give to them, that it's like, oh, there was movement there, then they get more persistent, that they then get very determined because there's feeling something give, and they're like, all right, I can make this work. So I am not a fan of just buying a more heavy duty crate. Our goal is to fix the state of mind, right? Dogs naturally would find themselves in a cozy den-like environment. It wouldn't be enclosed, meaning there's no doors if they were out in nature and they found these little dens. But they do like to get in a space that feels comforting and soothing to them. And so a crate that's the appropriate size, not a condo, right, is the right thing to do. But we've got to teach them to be settled and calm and have better experiences in that space. And it's a whole progression of work. So I do like the airline carrier crates stuffed with straw, not pine straw and not hay, but think the kind of straw that you would go put out over the soil if you were planting grass and you didn't want your grass seed to wash away, that kind of heavy straw. Put it in the crate about half to 2/3 full. So you need a tarp or something under it because it's going to come out the sides every time your dog comes in and out. But I would much rather sweep up or vacuum up some straw than to have to take my dog to the vet because he's gotten his head stuck in a metal crate, because he's jumped out a window, or to have to repair drywall or doors or that sort of thing. Cleaning up hay is easy. The hay offers sort of this earthy, cozy, nesty experience, right? And it's easy to clean. So I think it plays on the dog's olfactory senses, that it smells earthy. It smells sort of dirt-like. And when they're in it, it's natural. It feels natural. It feels grounding, right? So use that. And then I, of course, use my essential oils. So I might put a drop of essential oil onto that hay, or onto that straw, or onto a piece of fabric that's in there, and onto the animal. I do a lot of work directly on the animal. So this goes back to things like the raindrop technique we talked about, petting, getting those oils onto the animal, and having a diffuser going in the space in which they're going to be resting. Generally speaking, a diffuser that has intervals is probably a better option, because it'll run and then it turns itself off for 15 to 30 minutes. The molecules are still floating about the air for a little while, and then it'll kick back on and it'll diffuse a little more. So you get an extended period of coverage with oils being diffused in the interval-based diffusers. The oils that I like to use for dogs with this separation distress issue certainly include the calming oils. Think Stress Away, Peace and Calming, vetiver, even lavender, right? They can be helpful. But where I find the most benefits start to show up is when I move into oils like cedarwood. And I often give the dogs an opportunity to choose, meaning I'll put out cedarwood or pine, so again, think these big tree-based oils with deep roots, that grounding, rooting, feeling comfortable, feeling strong, feeling sturdy kind of benefit. That's what we're after. So I'll pick several oils for them to select from, and basically just open the top, hold out my hand. If they approach me, they get to smell it, right? And I'll set that cap down and I'll do a couple more, and I'll let the dog choose. Often they are choosing cedarwood. A lot of times the dogs that are in this state of mind are choosing oils like cedarwood or grounding. Grounding is a blend, as an oil that they like. They'll actually come start to want to lick it off your hand, right? And so I'll use that to put a drop or two, depending on the size of the dog, maybe directly down their spine, and then feather that all in. So not necessarily doing a dilution, not necessarily using a carrier oil in all of these cases. And I'll just sort of feather that through the fur and let the fur do the wicking into the body. So you have a lot of options, a lot of options. Those are my go-tos in the times that they're going to be alone. What I also do a lot of then with these dogs who have this difficulty is I will do the raindrop technique, or just a good long pet session, right? And I'll use, and that's, let me be clear. This second part is not about, I'm getting ready to put you into the crate. It is not about you're going to be alone with these scents, right? These will do when I'm home, when I'm going to be here for a while, and I'm really trying to do some more therapeutic oils work. And so I will use oils like release or transformation or surrender or trauma life. Those are top picks for me when I have a dog that is so unbalanced that they can't settle, they can't be alone. They don't know how to be relaxed in their own bodies and to just go, oh, okay, I can have a little rest here, right? So these dogs, there's something going on emotionally with them that they need to let go of. And so that's when I draw on some of these really beautiful custom blends from Young Living based on what I think may be going on. And we don't always know, right? We don't always know why or how they got into this state of mind, just that they are. And so if we think about essential oils having a frequency, we're going to talk about that topic in depth in one of the webinars. But if we think about essential oils having a frequency, that oil may speak to me, or it may speak to the dog by basically just feeling right. That it just feels right in the moment that that's the one I'm supposed to use. Or that the dog is drawn to it when I offer out a selection for him to choose from, right? So this work of separation distress, this fear of being alone and isolated, is, to me, it's two parts. It's let's get them comfortable in the crate. Let's help them do that, and let's imprint scent associated with that. But then let's also go do the work on the rest of the being, right? The rest of the emotional state of this animal, and help him let go of whatever else he's holding on to or has happened to him that he's brought into this equation, and start to put the body and the state of mind back in balance. So, for me, food and all is certainly a portion of that, but I'm going to limit this conversation to the essential oils piece. So if you've got an animal stuck with for some of us, it doesn't have to be severe. Some dogs can have moderate levels of this, and some can have just sort of minimum levels of this. And it can all be changed. We know that when dogs live with these severe states, or even moderate states of anxiety, it is not healthy for them, and it's not healthy for you. And we can start working on helping them to move past and move through all of that into a calmer state of mind. So I hope this was helpful. If I can help you in any way, just shout out. Talk to you soon.